Bitcoin, Ethereum. What's the deal with crypto? Well, a lot actually. Crypto is just a broad term that really doesn't give what is happening in the crypto world enough justice. Let me explain. What do you picture when you hear the word crypto? If you haven't explored deeply into the crypto world, when you hear crypto, you likely think about the hype around Bitcoin, maybe Dogecoin and Elon Musk, or maybe even the story you saw on social media of the picture of a rock that sold for over $1 million. Although there is a lot of hype going on in the crypto world, there is also a lot of exciting things being built in that space as well. Stuff that has real world utility and stuff that can change how money in general works and just how the real world operates in general. Don't believe me? Well, think about this. Almost every government and big business around the world are diving into crypto in one way or another, trying to figure out how they can leverage this technology themselves. So if governments and big businesses are getting involved in this space, don't you think you should learn a little bit just to understand what is happening in the crypto world? Well, luckily for you, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. My goal with this video is to convince you that there is more to the crypto world than just the hype around Bitcoin or Elon Musk and Dogecoin. There is a lot going on in this space, a lot of interesting stuff that has the potential to change the world as we know it. To start, it's best to think of the term crypto as an umbrella term. The crypto space includes several different areas that are growing rapidly. This includes the blockchain in general, smart contracts, cryptocurrencies, DeFi, decentralized finance, NFTs, non-fungible tokens, DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, and even Web 3.0, which I'm sure many of you have probably heard about. These are just some of the current areas that crypto is expanding into. For the sake of this video, and to keep things as simple as possible, just to kind of give you a broad overview of what is happening in the crypto world, I'm not going to go into detail about each one of these areas. I'm just going to give you a broad overview, a broad scope about what is going on, just so you're aware that there is more going on in this space than just the Bitcoin or Elon Musk and Dogecoin. So keep that in mind. This is not the end-all be-all video, and I encourage all of you to dig a little bit deeper around the topics that interest you most. The crypto space in general is growing rapidly. There are new projects being developed every single day. One thing to keep in mind is that although there are so many different opportunities, it is still very, very early in this space. Many of the projects around today will likely not be around 5-10 years from now. Think of it as like the wild, wild west. There are very few rules in this space, and things are changing rapidly. But with that rapid change brings a lot of opportunity. So what's the big appeal around crypto in general? Well, to name a few, decentralization is a big one, to where you're cutting out the middlemen. Transparency is another huge one. Everything is visible and shown on the blockchain. Innovation is another big one. Smart contracts are essentially changing the way that we could potentially do business in the future. Speed, which is another big appeal with crypto when you're comparing to traditional banks. Transactions can be much faster than traditional banks with crypto. Security is another huge one. If you store your crypto properly, you can actually prevent any sort of hacks from happening. On top of that, nobody, no bank, no government can cut you off of your crypto if you store it properly. And most importantly, trust. You're in charge of the crypto that you have, not a bank, as long as, of course, you store it properly. Now, don't get me wrong, the crypto world is far from perfect. There are still a lot of problems that still need to be worked through. It's still very, very early in the crypto world. The best way to think of the crypto world is to think of it as the internet was at the same stage the internet was back in the 90s. So it's not perfect, it's not completely user-friendly, but I can say with certainty that one thing is for sure, and the blockchain or the crypto world in general is here to stay one way or another. Yes, most of the projects around will likely fail. That can include even the bigger projects such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. But the world is changing before our eyes, and I have no doubt that in the decades to come, a lot is going to change thanks to the blockchain technology and the crypto world in general. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly talk over a few of the areas in the crypto world that are growing rapidly and that are gaining a lot of popularity, just so you're kind of familiar about what is going on fundamentally in this space. Again, this video is only meant to give you a broad scope. I'm not going to go over all of the specific details. I encourage you though, if you find any of these areas interesting, to go on YouTube, go on to Google, and just dig into it deeper and to learn a little bit more. There's a lot to learn in this space, and it's almost impossible to cover everything because of how fast everything is rapidly growing. Before we dive in, I need to define two crucial terms that you need to be aware of. The first one is blockchain. The best way to think of the word blockchain is just digitalized records. The blockchain actually stores all of these records and holds all the information of the transactions that are taking place all around the internet. The blockchain is a way to secure data. Every blockchain contains all of the data of each transaction received. And the most simplest way to think of it is just as the transaction records, kind of like the accountant of the blockchain. But the thing is, it's all digitalized and there's no one person that has control over the blockchain. Again, that's just a very simple explanation. There are several different videos out there and articles that go over the blockchain concept in depth. The best way to think of the blockchain is just the information of the crypto. Okay, another term that you need to be aware of is smart contracts. The cool thing with smart contracts is that they can be completely customized. You can code specific terms in the blockchain in these smart contracts, and the contracts will only be executed once certain conditions are met. These contracts are decentralized, they're open to view to anyone if they look on the blockchain. The best part about it is the rules cannot be changed once they're implemented. Okay, so now that we have a basic understanding of smart contracts and blockchains, let's dive into what is happening in the crypto space. Okay, so number one, cryptocurrencies. The two most popular cryptocurrencies are going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. There are several different cryptocurrencies with several different purposes. You can actually go and see them all if you go to CoinMarketCap, and you'll be able to see them all sorted by market cap on that website. So let's talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, in their most simplest form, Bitcoin is considered more of an actual currency in the crypto world. Some people consider it a store of value or something like a digital gold. So I would say the best way to think of Bitcoin is as the dollar of the internet. Some people consider Bitcoin as a way to exit the current financial system that we're in and to kind of diversify your wealth out of the current financial system. Ethereum, on the other hand, Ethereum thrives on the smart contracts. The best way to think of Ethereum is to think of it as the infrastructure of the crypto world. And that's because Ethereum can be completely customized thanks to the smart contract technology. So you can think of Ethereum as like the building blocks of the crypto world. A lot of these like NFT projects and the DeFi space and just Web 3.0 in general are being built using Ethereum. Now, there are several different competitors to both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there is no guarantee that either of the two will be the cryptocurrency that does what it says it's going to do. But at the time of this video, those are still the two top cryptocurrencies. The crypto project that actually is able to scale and change the world as we know it might not even be around right now. So make sure to keep that in mind when you're doing your research. Okay, number two, DeFi or decentralized finance. So this space is actually what I'm most excited for. I'm sure we can all agree that the finance world is long overdue for some disruption. And the best way to think of the DeFi world is that it essentially gives people the ability to be their own banks, hence the decentralized finance part. There are several different projects in the DeFi space. There are projects that allow people to take out loans, earn interest on their crypto by staking, or even pool money together with other investors to invest in bigger things. The possibilities are limitless in this space, and the beauty of it all is it does all of this without any middleman. So there's no bank that is the middleman of these transactions. It's all done on the smart contracts on the blockchain. Okay, number three, NFTs. I'm sure by now almost everybody has heard about NFTs one way or another, especially after that viral story of the picture of a rock selling for over $1.3 million. So what is an NFT? You can think of an NFT as a digital token that lives on the blockchain, so it's stored on the blockchain, essentially making it unique and verifiable. In other words, NFTs are essentially proof of ownership records that are stored on the blockchain. Now, you might be rolling your eyes at the concept of NFTs, and to be honest, I was too at first when I was learning about them. Especially when you hear about these crazy stories of people speculating on these NFTs of rocks, and they're making millions of dollars. Yes, there is a lot of hype in the NFT world. Yes, there are a lot of people trying to get rich quick, essentially turning it into a casino. And whenever that occurs, there's inevitably going to be people who want to take advantage of that and maybe build some sort of scam in the space. However, there is more to NFTs than meet the eye. It doesn't only have to be art. For example, somebody could build a digital registry where instead of having a paper title for something like a car that you own, you could own it in an NFT version. This could be better than a paper title in the sense that all of the knowledge around the car's title would be publicly verifiable and impossible to copy if it was implemented correctly. I'm not saying this is where things should go with NFTs. I'm just trying to show that there are real potential cases where this technology could be implemented and have some sort of real world impact. Okay, number 4, decentralized autonomous organizations. Before we dive into these, let's first talk about what a centralized organization is. A centralized organization is going to be any modern corporation or even just a government to where you have a central, like the CEO and the executive staffs that run the entire company and make all the decisions. Where on the other hand, a decentralized autonomous organization isn't centrally managed by people, but by the blockchain. Let me explain. The decentralized autonomous organization would automate a lot of the functions typically done by humans. So how this could work is that everybody who works for the autonomous organization could be given tokens, like digital tokens that are stored on the blockchain. And anytime somebody wants to propose a change to the overall organization, everybody would have to vote on it. So depending on how many tokens you had, that would be how many votes you get. So let's say you want to give somebody a raise. Your coworkers would essentially get to vote on if they should get a raise or not. And of course, their votes would be weighted based on how many tokens they own. So if you've been with the company for longer, or maybe you're in a higher position or more impactful position, you would likely have more votes. So you could think of it as like a real democracy, so to speak, to where the people in the organization get to also have a say in big decisions in the company. The whole idea behind this is that it could limit some of the corruption of the top-down management. But of course, there are flaws in this and it's not perfect, but you can start to see what potential this could actually have for certain areas or organizations in the future. Okay, number 5, Web 3.0. Generally speaking, Web 3.0 would mark a major change in just how we use the internet in general. For example, the transition to Web 2.0, which is the current internet era we're in, was the transition from like static websites to data-driven mobile websites, kind of like Facebook and Google today. So Web 3.0 refers to the new era of the internet, or like the new evolution of the internet that the blockchain could potentially build. For example, there's a possibility that with the blockchain technology, you could have just one account across every single social media or website, and it included all of your data that you were able to control. So these other websites or third-party websites wouldn't be able to track your data because like you would control your own data and your own profile. So Facebook, Twitter, Google in the Web 3.0 era could look like to where you have just one account for all of these platforms. There is speculation that maybe even in the Web 3.0 world, you could actually sell your data to companies. So if you wanted to make money, you could actually sell your data to advertisers. Compared to now in the Web 2.0 world, that's kind of what Facebook and Google do. They sell data of the people who use their platform to make money off of their platform in general. So the Web 3.0 space will likely be a lot more decentralized, transparent. There'll likely be a lot more security since we'll be using the blockchain technology, and trust because you'll know where your data is going because you'll have control of it. So should you invest in crypto? Well, first off, I wouldn't invest anything that you can't afford to lose. Although there are a lot of opportunities in the crypto world right now, it's still very, very early. Because of that, you never want to invest what you can't afford to lose. It's likely that 99% of the projects that are around right now will likely fail. There is a lot of interesting stuff happening in this space, but whether or not they can actually implement and scale what they say they can do is a whole nother story. That being said, I do have a very small part of my portfolio in Ethereum. It's less than 5%. I am specifically fascinated by what is going on in the DeFi space just because I think the financial world is much overdue for some disruption. But that, of course, is just my speculative play. I'm not investing in anything I can't afford to lose. Whatever you do decide to do, there is so much opportunity in here, and I encourage you to do some more research. There are several different YouTube videos and articles on the internet that you can look into to learn a little bit more about each of these areas and just the crypto world in general. Again, this video is meant just to give you a broad, simple view of what is going on in the crypto world. There are so many different things that I can't include in this one little short video, but I encourage you, if any of this sounds interesting to you, to check it out. Do your homework, keep yourself educated. I hope this video gives you a little bit more of a broader scope of everything and maybe a more of an understanding that there's more to crypto than just the hype around Bitcoin or the $1 million rocks that are being sold. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.